The minute I started telling the truth, they called me crazy. That's what Michael Jackson said. And not on stage, not in a music video. He said it when the cameras weren't supposed to be rolling. Because behind the sequins, behind the moonwalk, behind the pop culture icon, was a man in danger. A man who was trying to break free, and a man who, according to some, was silenced before he could finish the job. Let's be very clear. Michael Jackson didn't just accidentally offend the most powerful people in entertainment. He went to war with them. And right before he died, he was doing something no other artist had dared to do. He was trying to own the entire music industry. It starts with a catalog, not just any catalog, the Sony ATV Music Publishing catalog. We're talking about millions of songs, the Beatles, Elvis Presley, Bob Dylan, Marvin Gaye, music that prints money every single stream, every single commercial license. And in 1985, Michael Jackson bought it. He didn't just buy some shares, he owned it outright. And the industry hated him for it. Think about it, one of the biggest black artists in the world, quietly purchasing the rights to the entire foundation of Western pop music. That wasn't just business, that was revolution. Even Paul McCartney warned him not to do it, not because it was a bad deal, because he knew what kind of enemies it would make. But Michael didn't back down. He merged the catalog with Sony's, giving him 50% control over the most valuable music library on the planet. He had the keys to the kingdom. And that's when everything started to change. They called him a freak. They called him a predator. They said he bleached his skin. They said he hated being black. They said he was a reclusive weirdo who slept in hyperbaric chambers and held baby dolls. But none of that started until he took control. Before that, he was the king of pop, a global icon. Every door opened, every hand was extended. After that, the media turned, the lawsuits began, the narrative shifted, because Michael Jackson stopped being profitable. He stopped being predictable, and he started speaking up. There's one speech, rare, mostly hidden. He's standing in front of a crowd, not performing, but warning. He says, "The history books are lies. The media is manipulated. The industry is a conspiracy." Not figuratively, literally. He uses that word, conspiracy, not once, multiple times. He says, "The minute I started telling the truth, they called me a freak." That wasn't entertainment, that was a confession. A man who realized that the empire he helped build was rotten to the core. He didn't just own Beatles masters, he owned his own music. And that's the one thing artists are never supposed to have. Ownership equals freedom. Freedom equals threat. Michael Jackson was becoming too powerful, not just in influence, but in assets. He was worth more dead than alive. A living Michael Jackson, controversial, uncontrollable, suing record labels, speaking out against Sony, accusing Tommy Mottola of being a devil. A dead Michael Jackson, a gold mine. You can repackage the music, you can erase the accusations, you can sell the catalog, you can control the narrative. Sound familiar? The same playbook they ran on Prince, on Whitney, on Sam Cooke, on Tupac, on XXXTentacion. Own the art, control the story, milk the legend. They tell you it's overdose, heart failure. But behind the curtain, there's always a pattern. His final years? He was planning a massive comeback. 50 sold-out shows in London, a global reintroduction, a direct threat to the system that buried him. But weeks before opening night, he died, mysteriously. Alone in a mansion, surrounded by handlers with prescription drugs in his system. His doctor, Conrad Murray, is blamed. But ask anyone who's looked into it, they'll tell you, Murray was a pawn, a fall guy. Michael was being watched, medicated. He had lost weight. He had trouble sleeping. He told friends, "They're trying to kill me." He wasn't talking about strangers. He was talking about them. The same they that own the labels, own the media, own the catalogs, own the legacies. After his death, Sony acquired full control of the catalog he once owned. They paid billions. Now they profit off every stream, every remix, every posthumous release. And the man who fought for that ownership, gone, silenced. They said it was an accident, but the timing, the context, the buildup, it all points to something deeper, Michael Jackson was a glitch in the matrix, a man who went from puppet to threat, from superstar to target. And in the end, he tried to tell us. But most people weren't listening. We were too distracted by the headlines, too entertained by the circus, too caught up in scandals to see the setup. He told us who the real enemy was. He said the industry was evil, that Sony was corrupt, that the media was fake. He exposed them before it was trendy, before it was conspiracy, before the red pills and rabbit holes, and they buried him for it. It's what happens every time someone tries to break the system. They rise, they speak, they get framed. Then the corporations take over. The media spins the story. We're left with a sanitized version of a legend, a version that makes them money and never threatens the machine again. So the question isn't, what happened to Michael Jackson? The real question is, who benefited when he died? Who gained control? Who got richer, safer, stronger? Because Michael didn't just want to entertain, he wanted to own his art, control his message, rewrite the rules. And that's the one thing the industry will never allow. Because the second an artist breaks their chains, the system breaks them. Was Michael Jackson just another troubled celebrity? Or was he a man who saw the truth and paid the ultimate price for saying it out loud? You be the judge. If you're awake, you already know what to do. Hit the link in our bio and subscribe to our free underground newsletter.